Welcome to the 2020 NFL draft season, everybody. I'm your host, Terry, and this is Boom or Bust. What this channel is here to do, and that's talk about the NFL draft. I'm very excited. It's funny, it's a long, process, and I'm burnt out. Trust me, by the end of March, I am so burnt out. And by the draft, I'm barely hanging on by a thread. And then I take the break, and then by the time the NFL season starts to wind down, I'm ready to go again. So very excited. I've been doing this a few years on this channel. This will, I believe, be my third draft on this channel, but I've been doing the draft for a long time for any new listeners. So I will put in the link or in the description section, I'll put the link to some videos I've done kind of talking about my process and everything. I tweak things a little bit each year, but I'm not going to go through all that again. So I'm going to put that in the description section if you want to check it out so you can see what my timeline looks like and how I do things. The one new thing this year, and I'm going to decide how I want to do it, is, of course, if you watch the Bears content, I'm able to do some film sessions. And I've always had the film for the draft, but I never utilized technology to like screen record and all that. So I started that this year. So I could do a little bit of that. I'm not going to do a whole bunch. Most of this will still be kind of podcast style, talking through my rankings, or, not really rankings, but kind of what I think of the prospects. But I might add a little bit of film sessions in because it'll be super long if I did it for position groups. So that's why I'll probably do it for specific players, and I'll decide how I want to do that. I might put up some polls in the post in the community so you can vote on those. I'll figure out how I want to do it. Of course, I got any Patreons, I'll take requests from them and all that good stuff. So, this year I'm excited. So I want to kind of do my first impressions. I usually do now. I am starting a little bit earlier, and I got reminded why I like to wait. I usually wait to start. I usually wait until the day after the deadline for players to declare for the draft. When I do my first impressions, I usually only look at seniors that are coming into the draft because I don't know which juniors are going to declare yet, and I like to wait. But this year I want to get started early. I got some free time. The Bears aren't in the playoffs, so I decided, get started early. But already I'm like, man, there's a number of guys, because I use mock drafts to look at who's trending for right now. Because I come into this fresh, I don't watch, college ball until right now. And so I'm looking at mock drafts, but then different drafts got these couple guys in the top 10 that I never heard of. And so I'm like, oh man, it's all over the place. But overall, my first impressions, I just do a quick look through at, kind of the top, I would say 30 to 40 prospects. And I just kind of look and see what the top level talent is looking like. And for me, I would say this draft is what I would call a tools and fools draft. We have not had this amount of offensive line talent in ever. I wouldn't say ever, but in a long time. Offensive tackles really fell off the map as far as being premium talent. And I don't mean as far as the way NFL teams look at them, but as far as the prospects we've gotten. And if you follow the stuff I do at the draft, every year I talk about different positions that are affected by the spread offense in the college game. Overall, the college game is not made to make good pro prospects. It's just not, especially offensively. It has completely diminished the development of a lot of players. There's still schools that do, take a lot of interest in the traditional offenses and the traditional foundational tools. And those players tend to come into the league a lot more ready, Alabama and Big Ten schools for the most part. But a lot of schools don't care. They're just in the spread stuff, and it hurts people. So tackles, I was talking about that for years, about how it's declining. And we saw it. We saw it in the drafts. There just haven't been premium picks since 2016, I would say, is the last time where we had premium prospects. And again, I'm talking about like top 10 prospects that people wanted in the top 10, not people that got pushed up. Because you had Ronnie Stanley, who was probably one of the last really elite prospects at tackle. And then you had Conklin and Tunsil. Now, remember, Tunsil fell a little bit because of the whole drug thing. But Conklin was not really touted as a top prospect. I really liked him, and I had him top 10. But a lot of people didn't. It was a shock when he went top 10. And so even though you end up having 3 guys go in that area, that wasn't what people expected. And it's been bad ever since. And you could trace it back to 2013 where you had Luke Jokel and Eric Fisher. But anyway, I don't want to go into all that. Point is, we just haven't seen this level. And I'm not talking about 2 top tier guys or 1 top tier. I'm talking about multiple. We're talking about people are projecting 5 to 6 offensive tackles in the first round. Not just O-line, but tackles. And apparently there's a couple guys that might declare that might make that even more. So the few guys that I saw, and again, it's a quick glance, but I think they're legit. I think I saw at least 4 legit first round tackles. And I didn't even see, the juniors that everybody's hyped up about. So this is a tools and fools draft because the strength of this draft is going to be with the, guys that can tool your roster. You're talking about offensive linemen. You're talking about defensive linemen that are solid pass rushers, but really good run defenders. You're talking about probably, they said, the most stacked receiver class. We'll see. But there's some top flight guys with speed, but there's a lot of good polished guys. And so this is the type of draft where, since there's so many, tool heavy guys that aren't super flashy, really sturdy, utility vehicle type guys, that's going to make the Ferraris even more impressive or stand out more. And so what you usually see is you'll see certain teams that they want to take a chance. And that's why it could work, but most time you're just chasing talent or chasing speed or chasing athleticism. And you don't always have the environment to groom that player to become, real or to realize their potential. And so that's why I call it a tools and fools draft, because you'll have the teams that recognize, okay, we can get some solid players and really add to the foundation of our roster. Or you got teams that's going to chase the flashy stuff and end up looking like a fool. So that's the type of draft I'm seeing. And it's exciting. It'll be an interesting one because you always going to have some premium guys at the top, either like a corner. It hasn't been a corner recently, but usually it's like a corner, usually a pass rusher, or what have you. It's going to be a premium type player, and that's Chase Young this year. But after that, you usually have the top talent, which again is through the O-line, D-line this year. And this year, though, you have quarterbacks that are intriguing. And not to me exactly, but intriguing to the NFL. So to me, I see Herbert. I watched Herbert a little bit. And again, this is all first glance stuff. He looks like Mitch Trubisky. I'm going to be very honest. Not just the number. He looks like Mitch Trubisky. And so many people are like, how does Trubisky go number 3? How's Herbert getting talked as a top 10 pick? That's why he went number 3. It is, or number 2, sorry. But, it is what it is. Like, and we'll get into it during the draft season. But with certain positions, they get pushed up and people just have blind spots. And so, for me, I look at him and I'm like, okay, no, pass. Burrow, you can't deny the resume, but numbers don't mean much to me. I haven't got a chance to look at him in depth, but to me, I see some potential tools there. I don't see number 1 pick. And so that'll be interesting, of course, to see where he lands. Then you got Eason, who I think looks the best out of all of them so far. Barely watched him, but I think he looks the most natural, and we'll see where he goes. But then you got guys like Tua and Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts won't be a first rounder, but he might. And Tua, a lot of people, if he declares, I should say, but a lot of people are mixed on him. And so when you have quarterbacks, somebody's going to like that quarterback, and that's when things get weird. And so it's going to be very interesting because this deep receiver class they talk about, this monstrous potential O-line class, and these quarterbacks is going to make for people getting pushed down. And so we'll see what happens. But on first impression, like I said, I don't think this class has premium cream of the crop top talent. I mean, outside of Chase Young, who I actually don't have like crazy love like everybody else does. Just from what I've seen, I think, of course, he's one of those guys. But I don't have him like a Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, or anything like that. But I think outside of him, you'd be hard pressed to name somebody that's like hands down cream of the crop, top tier. And so I don't think this draft class has a whole bunch of that, but you're talking about depth. And again, you go back and watch kind of what my draft process is and my thoughts. I usually look at two things when I'm talking about a prospect or I'm talking about a position group or a class. I'm talking about top tier talent and I'm talking about depth. Those are the two things. I would say on first impression, this seems to have probably a level 3 top tier talent out of 5, but it looks like it has level 5 depth as far as the overall draft class. So it should be very interesting. I'm excited to go into the tape and look at what we got. Probably be starting with some seniors, and then we'll see what the juniors do, especially because the O-line is probably one of the top position groups. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. But tools and fools draft for me. So go to comment section. Let me know what you think about some of the top players. Let me know what you think about your team as far as drafting, who you're looking for, what prospects you really excited about, all that good stuff. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.